What are the not so fun parts of sex that no one talks about? The shame of getting tired out before you have come. Semen is such a bitch to wash away. Lube is a pain in the ass to clean up. The dog never wants to move from its spot on the bed. Long hair getting in the other person's eyes. Choking on pubes. Never being able to get the pube out of the back of your throat. Semen or lube between your butt cheeks. Poop on butt toys. Accidentally forgetting which finger was in whose butts. Eating someone out ass or puss. And getting toilet paper in your mouth. Getting rug burn on your pussy from a guy who has harsh stubble. Being able to feel when a girl has to shit if you finger her. I will update when I think of more. Update. Being able to feel poop in someone's asshole when you finger it. Update 2. Forgetting to wash your hands after fingering a girl's pussy and then smelling vag later in the day when you're eating. Having someone come in your ass and farting poopy jizz for hours after. Use cold water to wash cum off. It's protein based, so hot water makes it stickier and harder to wash away. Sometimes when hooking up you find someone that is trying to have sex with some fantasy in their head. Instead of the person they're with, you'll be making out with this person or sucking their dick and they'll say something like yeah, you like that you sick fuck, and it's a complete turn off because whatever scene they're trying to play out was not discussed nor talked about at all beforehand. And it's usually really awkward when they start randomly trying to play out that you're some creep taking advantage of them. Also if you're having butt sex, the smells, and possibly running into something. A third one is people putting their fingers in places and not washing their hands after, and then they are just walking around touching things. A bed that makes more noise than the person you're having sex with. The break in between. Especially if it's your first time as a couple, or one night stand, or friends with benefits etc. That's a different kind of awkward. When you wake up next to someone you hadn't had sex with. Taking off daily pads before your partner gets to your panties. No one discussed that, but this is a pain in the ass. We share stories with my friends about the best and weirdest ways we threw our daily pads right before having sex. Do you really wear liners every day? No judgment. I'm just curious and need to know if this is a secret girl thing I never knew I needed to do. Thinking you pushed all the cum out of your vag until more drips out hours later while you're out in public and you're sitting in a glob of man milk. My girlfriend doesn't seem to be a fan of that moment afterwards when gravity finally takes over and her gift from me to her comes out. She kinda freezes like a toddler pooping in their diaper while standing. I think it's hilarious. She does not. Midlife. My wife recently had a hysterectomy and her sex drive is fucking skyrocketing while mine is beginning to taper. And it fucking sucks. A lot. She's the only woman in the world. She's beautiful. She's sexy. She gets me going. But some nights I just don't have it in me. If doing anal, then expect poop residue of some sort. Then the wet spots on the bed from the aftermath. Did anal with a hookup many years ago. Ended up with a pretty significant skid mark on the bed after. She was mortified. Like beside herself mortified. Apologizing up and down. I was like, look, I'm the one who put my dick up your ass. I expected a little collateral damage. That's the spirit. If you're going to party in Poop's house, don't be upset when Poop shows up. When he gets up to get you a towel and you hear his car start and he pulls out of the driveway. Hitting the cervix is a special kind of hell, a stabby feeling that's deeply unsexy. Seeing me without clothes on. Having to push pets away that won't get off the bed and just sit there staring at you. The cold wet spot on the bed. The cleanup. If you're like me, you sweat fairly easily, so being on top means I'm dripping off my face and usually it landing in or around my girlfriend's eyes and mouth. We've often talked about a sweet band, but I'm not sure if it would increase passion or cause laughter. Come poke me. Oh, I'll grab the headband and be right in. Get it? Never mind. Put the sweet band on in the morning when you wake up and don't take it off until after you have had sex. If you two are going somewhere together, she will have sex with you, just so you won't wear the stupid sweet band. When you're in the middle of it and realize you have to pee, so the rest of the time you're just kinda focused on that. Finding a person to have sex with is not so fun. No, that's easy. Finding someone you want to have sex with is typically a lot harder. Deflating her and putting her back in the box afterwards with tears of loneliness stinging your eyes. When the other person isn't into it / in the mood, but doesn't just say it. If you're not in shape, sex is work. If you are in shape, sex is work. You're just good at work. Trying to gracefully avoid touching other bodily areas with the butt finger. The fart noises that your bodies make when you're doing it. The uncomfortable positions that you have to be like, okay stop, I gotta move, this hurts. The phenomenon is called arousal non-concordance. Fact check me. Basically, any situation in which your body isn't responding the way you feel. Can't get hard / wet even though you're turned on. Can't orgasm even though the sex is going great, etc. This goes the other way too. Getting physically aroused by things that mentally or emotionally turn you off. Calf cramps. Dear God. Oh, and when she bounces a little too hard on top and you slip out and get crushed. Well, if you are doing it straight Jesuit, then at some point you may bang her up to the top of the bed / headboard. Then you might have to stop and scoot back down to begin the banging process again. Like when your washing machine gets an uneven load and walks across the laundry room. I mean, it could just be me. Kind of like those old typewriters where you had to slide them back to the starting position once you heard the ding. Half the positions are absurdly uncomfortable, so you often end up on one of the 3 basics because you'd rather enjoy than be a fucking gymnast. The I am holding in my fart as not to ruin the mood moments. Lying there waiting for your other half to come with the tissues. Getting fingered by someone who did not cut their fingernails. Or someone who just cut his fingernails. How about TFW, your cock comes all the way out in the current motion, and your brain stretches the following half second into eternity before the next damaging painful blow comes, if you're not perfectly lined up, to go straight back in. The cons of shower sex. You run the risk of slipping and seriously injuring yourself for both of you. The shower is better used for foreplay rather than sex. When you're always the person to initiate sex, it gets pretty exhausting sometimes. Setting up and breaking down restraints and toys that need to be taken out and put away. Inflating / deflating your partner. Sex farts. I don't say anything because she's an absolute goddess and I'm lucky to be hooking up with her, but shit man, I spread those cheeks and feel it breeze past my fingers. When the dong slips out, when you overheat, sweat dripping on you, finding an after sex towel, uterus, strained muscles, blowjobs with severe cotton mouth. Shower sex actually kinda sucks. Water is not lube, nowhere is comfortable. Hot water runs out. Weird. I must have a good water heater. Haven't ever had an issue with the hot water lasting the full 2 minutes. The amount of pain when she's not wet doesn't matter if you aren't big, and lubed holes will feel a bit coarse and painful to her. Always do the damn foreplay. After doing it with a condom on, the fucking AutoZone smell. Fishing out the pube from your mouth after going down on someone. As a man, I think Lil Wayne said it best, when I come to my senses. The man said before and after is so different. I'm like a super hentai dog before, and after I'm like a monocle wearing Puritan. Post nut clarity. Having to stop abruptly because your boyfriend accidentally slapped his nuts hard when he tried to slap your ass. I'm whacking up to ash and dust. I wipe my ass and I slap my nuts. How to deal with a sexual partner with low self-esteem. No matter how hard you try, you can't make them feel sexy. Then you call into question your own worth as a partner. Is it my fault? What am I doing wrong? Leading to a eventual breakup that leaves you with partial low self-esteem. Hard to bounce back from. I'm on YouTube to hear other people's problems, not other people so perfectly explaining my problem. Cramp. So you're really gonna make me say it? Okay. Spreading the labia. And when they don't, and everything isn't wet yet and they try to jam it in, and the labia goes along for a very dry painful ride? Yes, this happens to me way too often, and I have to reach down to pretend like I'm playing with myself when I'm actually rescuing my poor labia, then making sure it's still attached. Dealing with birth control pill side effects. Taking a little too long to finish and then feeling embarrassed, and the more you think about it the harder it is. Someone being painfully rough, unless you're into that. The smell afterwards. Sometimes the sweat makes the bed wet. Either partner being unwashed. The person on top panting, and you breathing the same air. The person on top panting, and you breathing the same air. Maybe it's gross, but I think that's extremely intimate, unless they have bad breath. So no morning just woken up sex for you. My husband's breath smells like shit stuffed in a rotting whale corpse in the morning. It's worse than the cat's breath, and the cat doesn't brush his teeth. Apparently, there's this thing where you come in your pants before the appetizer even begins. How do I know? Well, this friend told me it totally happened to him, so don't judge him. I think this might be my kink though. I love getting a guy too worked up. I've never done it on purpose, but if it happens, I find it super hot. I'm late. For what? I'm late. For what? The waddle to the bathroom afterwards with one hand cupped over your vag.